Yo, what's up guys? Welcome to my Blizzard Sorcerer guide for Season 5. The patch notes bring massive buffs to the table for this build, two stand out in particular, and that's why I think the Blizzard Sorc will be a top pick this season. An insane buff to Blizzard's damage itself, and of course the new blue rose ring. Even crazier. It's an absolute AoE monster and was already one of the best boss killers in the game. My example character has no temperings because I'm on Eternal Realm here. The playstyle is so convenient and so chill. Of course, this is just a pit tier 1. Just hopped into a pit on Eternal real quick. But also keep in mind, this is not the Season 5 patch. And I have super, like that's the worst gear you will ever find probably. Gear is not rerolled. Haven't even picked up a tempering, matter of fact. So yeah, that's like the rotation a little bit. Keep up the shields. Just cast Blizzard everywhere. Make them vulnerable now and then. And as soon as the ice spikes kick in, you see like way bigger damage numbers and they just melt. They just melt. Yeah, I'm about to kill the boss here in a second. And you will see that the damage stacks up real bad. Can't wait to see this with the real patch, with the real Season 5 changes. It's just insane. With the type of items I'm wearing right now. Okay, we'll show you my gear after the run. Of course there will be several variations, I'm pretty sure about it. Let's kill the boss here. Make him vulnerable. Melted. Yeah, crazy damage output. That's with the worst gear ever. And also, this is the Season 4 patch. Imagine this with the buffed ring and with the buffed Blizzard damage. So the gear here, I'm using Juggernaut on the helm. Absolutely cap out on armor. This is a little bit overkill, but especially on a season start scenario, it's just so good. Just print this somewhere on the gear and you don't have to worry about armor. Also, when we talk about the stats maybe, I'm resistance capped without any buffs, so without any potions. When I'm standing in my own Blizzard, I get damage reduction. So this buff is up almost all the time. I'm using the Azu's Ferocity Keystone passive as of now. More about that in the skill tree. But yeah, you could run different things. I have T-bolts here. By the way, the build requires no legendaries at all. That's just fancy extra. The only real one I would focus on, or if I start this build maybe even, I try to get the new buffed up reworked blue rose first, and that's it. Call it today. Like this would be such a crazy multiplier. So maybe only this is necessary for the build, everything else. So you don't really need T-bolts. On the other hand, this is also not difficult to get, but I'm just saying. For the boots here, I'm using those. Crit chance scales with movement speed. I try to get movement speed like on an amulet and stuff, but yeah, it's a scuffed character. No need the boots as well, just fancy extra. This one on the other hand here, this is very important in terms of the aspect. While deep freeze is active, exploding ice spikes from the area dealing way more damage and have one more radius and so on. This is when I press the ult. This is deep freeze. Okay, stack a bunch of blizzards. I use my cooldowns, make them vulnerable. Then I go in this form, and then this kicks in. For the focus here, I have more damage while having a barrier up. And yeah, this buff is also up all the time. For the rings here, I mean, you saw the first one. This one will be absolutely nuts in Season 5. The other one is Tyrushas. Might as well go just with a regular one. But yeah, it's a huge damage multiplier, of course. My amulet here, this is also a very important aspect in order to make the build work. When you cast Blizzard, it will periodically spawn ice spikes. So how it works at the moment, and that brings me to the skill tree also. Blizzard itself does not really deal damage. It's more about the ice spikes procs, scaling up the ice spikes, and there's even some, it's almost like a fire damage conversion going on because of the Sorcerer passive. So I have Firebolt here. So all the ice you see deals additional fire damage. Yeah, 2 into Firebolt just to unlock the core skills, to unlock the next one. And this is used in the passive to add the fire damage. Okay, a massive all resist buff using Flame Shield with the Mystical Flame Shield here. This will be not as OP anymore in Season 5, but still decent. I maxed out Teleport for the cooldown. When I was actually leveling this character, I had an Oculus, which gives a lot of plus kills to Teleport. Like, this build is so freaking fast. Yeah. GG, absolutely max it out and get a Oculus maybe on top of it. 1 into Elemental Attunement here. Maxing out Glass Cannon. 1 into Ice Armor, into Shimmering Ice Armor. This is super important. Makes everything vulnerable and also can make bosses vulnerable. So I max this out to have the cooldown quicker. Those are really important. Maxing them out. Align the elements, Mana Shield, and Protection. Without those, the Sorcerer feels really squishy. As I mentioned, Blizzard is not really the main source of damage. It's more about proccing the ice spikes. Therefore, I only have 1 point into Blizzard. This might be a different story when Season 5 goes live because of the insane damage buff. Maybe it's worth maxing then and have like all the plus skills on the gear and stuff. Yeah, into Mage Blizzard here, so the duration is longer. Basically an infinite uptime of Blizzard. By adding the fire damage, get a neat little multiplier here from Devouring Blaze. 21% crit damage against burning enemies. Maxing out all the cold stuff here. I have Icy Touch plus skills on the amulet. Yeah, maybe Permafrost is better. It's just flat damage. This is more bound on a condition, need to be vulnerable first. Yeah, Deep Freeze as the ultimate in Prime Deep Freeze. You could use Inferno as well. I think the skill always looked neat. And it's a cool combo. We can pull them together. And then spam Blizzards on top of them. That's up to you. I like the Deep Freeze one. Yeah, and for the Keystone passive, I'm using Azu's Ferocity. So your fire critical damage is increased by 25% against enemies above 50% life. My Blizzard actually is a fire skill now, somewhat, you know what I mean? Because of the shenanigans. And your fire critical chance is increased by 10% against enemies below 50, so it's just a strong multiplier on top of it. So I proc the ice spikes and I scale up the fire damage even a little bit more with the Keystone passive here. On to the Paragon board. This is level 8, level 4, level 10 territorial glyph here. So this is really like a season start scenario here. Starting out here with Flame Feeder. More damage against burning enemies. So it all works hand in hand just by pressing Blizzard. Best build ever, like in good old D2. The next one here, I'm using Reinforced. Even more damage to burning enemies. You might as well just write there 8% Blizzard damage, 30% Blizzard damage, you know what I mean? So really cool. So the next board is Enchantment Master, just to grab the glyph here real quick, Elementalist. Just stacking flat damage where it's possible. Another good one here, Territorial of course, using Icefall, the legendary. Your Frost skills deal 15% increased damage to vulnerable enemies. And the bonus is doubled when they are frozen, so as I mentioned like a few times, the little rotation, like spam, make them vulnerable, go into Deep Freeze form, then really that's where all the damage comes from. The next one here is Frigid Fate. Pretty similar to the other one, just a strong damage multiplier. The glyph I'm using here is the one for like ice spike damage. Yeah, character is not level 100 yet, but using destruction here, flat crit damage, and control. Yeah, should be every glyph should be leveled and so on, and they would be easily able to unlock the last bonus here as well.